Good evening, everyone. I'm McKenna Nobles, and happy Friday. Thanks for joining me for Wiregrass Daily News at 6. Now, our top story tonight is an update on the brutal attack in Lovetown. Houston County Sheriff Donald Valenza says a 34-year-old woman was severely beaten in her home just after midnight. Authorities say 30-year-old Latarius Malik Dale of Cowarts broke in through the back door and attacked the victim with a claw hammer as she was in bed. He hit her multiple times in the face, head, and chest. Around 1 a.m., Dale then crashed his car in Cowarts and was taken to the hospital before being booked into the county jail, Houston County Jail. He is charged with first-degree domestic violence and burglary. Sheriff Valenza says Dale and the victim were previously in a relationship and share a 1-year-old child who was thankfully not at home at the time. The next day, the victim regained consciousness and tried to get help but collapsed before reaching a neighbor's house. Authorities are continuing to investigate this situation. I also want to mention, I'm sorry, this story is a bit much. It's very, very brutal. And Sheriff Valenza did emphasize a lot that this lady was severely, severely beaten. It was not a good crime scene at all. No crime scenes are good, but this one in particular was very rough. Going over to Enterprise now, where a tense standoff ended with the arrest of a man accused of making threats while armed. Yesterday, Enterprise police responded to reports of an armed, disorderly person on Briarwood Drive, and witnesses say the suspect was making threats and acting irrationally outside of his apartment while armed with a firearm. Now, when officers arrived, the suspect barricaded himself inside. After hours of failed negotiations, the special response team entered the residence and took him into custody. The suspect is the man you're seeing on your screen, and he is 49-year-old John Brian Dickerson. He is charged with making a terroristic threat and obstructing governmental operations. A student at Carroll High School was found with a replica weapon on Tuesday, February 6th. Principal Marciana Williams says the situation was handled quickly and the item was confiscated without incident. We take matters of safety very seriously and appreciate your support in keeping our school a secure and safe environment for all students. And that, again, was a quote from the principal of Carroll High School. Getting down kind of into the panhandle now. This story, I do want to warn you, just like the first one, is also very brutal and just not something a lot of people are going to want to hear, but it is happening it happens everywhere and in our area. This story is just about 30 minutes from Dothan. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement has arrested Mark Swearingen, age 31, and Mackenzie O'Brien, age 20, on 11 felony counts of possessing child sexual abuse material. Now, this investigation began in November after FDLE received cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children about files uploaded online. Now, agents traced the account to Swearingen's home, where a search uncovered files involving children, some of them as young as 1 year old. Now, during the search, investigators also found a video of O'Brien engaging in a sexual act with an animal. She now faces an additional charge of sexual contact with an animal, while Swearingen is charged with possessing related content. Now, both of them were booked into the Jackson County Jail on February 6th. The state attorney's office for the 14th Judicial Circuit will process this case. Getting into a little bit of state news, the Alabama Medicaid agency is requesting $1.184 billion. I am so sorry. Here we go. For the fiscal year of 2026, and that's a $229 million increase. And this is largely due to the rising healthcare costs. Now, Commissioner Stephanie Azar says the actual increase is $53 million, but appears higher due to the loss of federal COVID-19 aid. Medicaid enrollment has dropped nearly 300,000 since June, returning to 1.81 million. Medicaid is Alabama's largest general fund expense, is 73% federally funded, with over $7 billion expected next year. Now, Representative Rex Reynolds says lawmakers will be working to meet that request. Getting into some lighter news now. I know today has been a lot of hard news, is what I like to call it, but this is a fun event that's happening in Dale County. Let's go ahead and take a look. You can experience the adrenaline pumping action of bull riding, bale racing, and team roping as elite cowboys and cowgirls compete for top rankings in the Professional Cowboys Association. You can enjoy live entertainment, mouthwatering food, and family-friendly activities for all ages. The proceeds will support the Dale County Sheriff's Office, making this event both thrilling and meaningful. Now, this is a two-day event happening from March 7th, happening on March 7th and March 8th at the Dale County AG Complex. And the kids get in for free if they are 5 years or younger. Let's go ahead and pop that graphic up and see what else is kind of going to be happening. It looks like there is going to be some prizes, cash prizes happening. And I'm not sure what mutton busting is, but that sounds pretty interesting. I might even go. I've never been to a rodeo. I've always said that I want to go to one, and now here's my perfect chance. I think there was one, I believe maybe the Houston County Sheriff Department does a rodeo as well, or maybe it was the Dale County one I'm thinking of that happened last year. But anyways, it sounds like a great event, but adults do have to get tickets, and I am not exactly sure how much they are, but I assume they won't be that much, and you're supporting a good cause by going and buying those tickets. Now, before I sign off for tonight, we were gonna, of course, check on the weather. So let's go ahead and get into that. Skies are going to be partly cloudy tonight with some fog developing as the evening continues. It's only going to be about 62 degrees tonight, so not too cold. And wind speeds are going to be between 5 to 10 miles per hour. So if you have any big Friday plans, Friday date night, doing something with your kids, it's not going to be too cold. You don't have to bundle them up super warm, but of course, bring a light sweater or something if you get cold easily. 62 is perfect for me. I would say I run typically very hot, so I like not too angry about the cold. Well, I appreciate all of you joining me for Wiregrass Daily News at 6. I hope you all had a fantastic day and you have an even better weekend. Have a good night.